that music, that can only mean one thing. We're getting ready to talk a little football. We're going to handicap a little pigskin. College football, pro football. From wagertalk.com, our guy, the legend, Ross Benjamin, checking in here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, and all of your 1310 WDPN social media platforms, X, Facebook, and don't forget the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Ross, the boss, happy Thursday, pal.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Sam.
Oh, I'm telling you, we're we're so excited about the Guardians. I can't even
say.
Yeah,
what about the Guardians, huh?
What the hell?
What are they, like within 3.5 of Detroit now, right?
Yeah, 3.5 and only goodness. 2 out of the wild card. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is real. So we're happy. I'm excited.
I had him last night. I gave him out as to clients
nice.
for play at plus 128. So
nice.
I was pretty excited about that.
Today I think it's hard to sweep a team at home, especially a day game after a night in Tarek School, but it was minus like 240. I'm like, nah, I'm not touching that. But yeah, that was pretty sweet today. Hey, speaking of sweet, you were playing some sweet music last weekend, Ross. College football, you were knocking it out of the park, to use a baseball term.
4-0 sweep last week, Sam, including 5% best bet on Tennessee, who got inside the number as a 4.5-point underdog against Georgia. Came down to 3.5, but still covered. And rightfully so. They should have won the game outright, but their field goal kicker failed them in the last play of regulation time. But they can't get over the hump against Georgia. But look, I was happy I covered. And 4-0, now 10-5 on the year, plus 18 units, number one last year in win percentage and also units earned in college football. So quite pleased.
Yeah. Folks, what else do you need? Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. That's wagertalk.com. He is in fuego right now. All right, we got a nice NFL card to look at. We're going to get to that here in a couple of minutes, but I just kind of threw out a couple of college games to you. Don't necessarily know how much you want to dig on these, but I looked at some of the matchups and I thought, okay, these might be interesting. And for us here in Big Ten territory, Illinois and Indiana in a pretty big matchup on Saturday. Any ideas about the Hoosiers and the Fighting Illini, Ross?
I went into this thinking when I saw the initial line that's a pretty good underdog value with Illinois. And then the more I did research, the more it looked like Indiana was the play. I ran a bunch of algorithms on this game on my database, all pointed toward Indiana. Illinois really hasn't played anybody so far, and neither has Indiana. So, this is a game where we don't know how good either one of these teams are. You can't always go by the ratings when it comes to early season, especially when teams haven't faced quality opposition or stiff competition. So this game, I'm just going to sit and watch. I wish I can give you an opinion on it in terms of the point spread or total, but I have none.
Yeah, and when you go see 3-0 against 3-0, and immediately the first thing I do, I look at the schedule.
Yeah.
And Indiana's been pretty famous for playing some cupcakes. Illinois the same. And so, yeah, this one is a little bit tough. It's at Indiana. They probably get a little bit for the home field. I think they're laying 6 or so. But, that's probably a game you probably stay away from.
Yeah, it went up to 6, Sam. It was 4.5, and it jumped up to 6 points. So that's stirred me away even more. I will say I like Kurt Segnetti much better than Brent Bielema.
Me too. Absolutely. Florida and Miami of Florida, Ross. Canes are laying a little bit of a big number here, 7.5. It's in Miami. And, man, I think the Gator Nation is looking for a new head coach. What do you think?
Yeah, the seat isn't only hot, it's scalding, especially after the last 2 losses. Look, the bottom line is I usually take a contrarian approach in these types of games. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is you got a Florida team that's reeling. Their coach is in hot water. They're facing a red-hot Miami team that looks like they're a true national title contender. And the line went from 9 to 7.5, which means some really sharp money went that way. But I just can't pull the trigger. I just think when you stop and look at just one simple fact, the common opponent, South Florida wins at Florida, okay, as a huge underdog.
Mm-hmm.
They go on the road against Miami last week as a 17-point dog, and they get annihilated, 49-12, and Miami racked up 575 yards of total offense. And, Miami's defense is shown to be pretty damn good. When you look, even they played Notre Dame in their season opener. So it's not like they played cream puffs so far. They did play Bethune-Cookman, like everybody has an FCS opponent early on, right? But I mean, there are two games against FBS opponents against Notre Dame and South Florida, two pretty good teams. And they came up on top. I'm going to lay the points here with Miami. I just think, the Florida money, everybody's waiting for Florida to wake up. But, that's like trying to catch an inside straight in poker and going all in, so.
I think old Billy's in trouble down there in Gainesville. Ross Benjamin is our guest. We're breaking down a little college football here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Again, wagertalk.com, wagertalk.com. We're also going to put up here on the screen a way you can get right to Ross's winning selection. So those of you that are watching right now, be on the lookout. We're going to pop that address up there for you, and make sure you check that out. I apologize to Ross. I sent you another game. I marked it Auburn, Tennessee, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
It's Auburn and Oklahoma, a battle of 3-0 teams. Boomer Sooner laying 6.5 at home. Any feel for the Tigers in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I really like Oklahoma in this game.
Okay.
This game has gone up to 7 now, and rightfully so. You look at the Sooners. Look, I love the quarterback that transfer from Washington State, John Mateer. He's to me, he's thrown a few interceptions, okay, but he reminds me a little bit of Josh Allen when he was young. And now I'm not saying he's going to develop into Josh Allen. But what I mean by that, he's willing to take risks, and he can hurt you with both his arm and his legs. He's put up 1,100 yards of total offense between his legs and arm in the first 3 games. In this Oklahoma defense, allowing 6.3 points per game and 181 yards per contest. Jackson Arnold on the other side, quarterback for Auburn, former quarterback at Oklahoma last year.
Mm-hmm.
So you think Brett Venable doesn't know this kid, doesn't know how to defend him? And I just think we have a clear edge in terms of the quarterback situation. As far as Auburn's defense goes, yeah, they big win against Baylor in their first game, but they gave up over 400 yards of passing in that contest. I just like the favorite here. I just think we're on the right side here.
Yeah, Oklahoma laying 7 against Auburn in Soonerland. Ross the Boss Benjamin all over Oklahoma there. Wagertalk.com, wagertalk.com. We are blessed to have Ross Benjamin with us here every Thursday at 4:35 on AM 1310 WDPN. A couple other college games, Ross. I'm just going to throw them out. If you want to comment, fine. If not, we'll move on. I just thought these were just semi-interesting. Michigan, Nebraska. The Huskers are at home catching 2.5 against the Wolverines. And a little further out west, T-Tech and Utah. The Utes are laying 3 at home against the Red Raiders.
Starting with Michigan, look, I think the wrong team is favored in this game, and I know that's hard to say because Nebraska, they seem to get their fans' hopes up, and then they let them down. But I just think this is a different year. Nebraska, to me, has looked very good in the first 3 games. And let's not forget, again, Michigan, true starting quarterback that's a true freshman. I'll get it out one way or the other. 18 years old and is one road game at Oklahoma this year, and the Michigan offense really stalled, and he was ineffective. Plus, he's not getting a lot of help, Sam.
Yeah, true.
His skilled position players are not helping him out whatsoever. And I just think, again, I think Nebraska wins this game. I mean, yeah, I'll take the 1.5, 2 points, whatever you want to give me. But I think Nebraska is the better team in this matchup. I just think that Michigan's getting too much respect because of the brand name, so it's a different year, different season. Give me Nebraska in this one.
100% agree. All right, my friend, let's go to the National Football League. You got some great matchups we're going to talk about here again. Ross Benjamin with us from wagertalk.com. Let's let's save our Brownies and the Packers for last. Let's start with Ohio's other team, Cincinnati and the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday.
Two backup quarterbacks going at it, huh, Sam? The backup quarterback situation worked out pretty well with Cincinnati last week. But, now you got a week to prepare for them. And Minnesota's defense is pretty darn good. Look, at Cincinnati, they're 2-0, but they're really an uninspiring 2-0. I guess from a positive standpoint, it beats the starts they've had in recent seasons. But they've been very lucky. You get 7 total yards in the second half and against the Browns in a game the Browns definitely should have won if not for their kicker. And then last week, they get an absolute gift. I mean, Jacksonville's got 4th and goal on the 5-yard line with 3 minutes to play. And instead of kicking the field goal to go up 6, they decide to go for it. Then Cincinnati turns around and goes 95 yards for a touchdown and not only wins, but they cover the game by half a point because Jacksonville passed up on a field goal. A little bit lucky at 2-0. Minnesota coming up a disappointing performance on national TV on Sunday night. Carson Wentz, maybe he'll get it right this time. I mean, look, usually you get a big drop off when you go from your starting quarterback to your backup, but I don't think that's the case here because McNamara is going to be a good quarterback, in my opinion, but he's still a rookie. He's in his second year technically, but he was out for the year last year from a preseason injury. So I'm going to go in Minnesota here.
Going to take the Vikes against the Bengalis. Ross Benjamin, our guest, wagertalk.com. All right, next up, the Broncos in the Chargers. This one is going to be out at SoFi in LA. The Broncos, the road team here. And Ross, your thoughts on the Bolts and the Broncos?
The Chargers are better on both sides of the ball. We definitely have the edge at quarterback. A healthy Justin Herbert, far and away the better quarterback than second-year guy Bo Nix. The Chargers defense has just been outstanding the first 2 games. Denver was listless in their season opener against Tennessee. Lucky to win that game. Didn't cover as an 8.5-point favorite and turned the ball over 4 times. And then they lose last week to Indianapolis 29-28. And everybody's crying about the missed field goal at the end to get a second opportunity. Well, you created the penalty, not us. And you also gave up 473 yards in that game. So I'm going to go against the Bengals in this one, buddy.
I'll tell you what, that was, you just don't see that call made a lot. I'm sure it happens more often than it gets called. It's all about, I guess, the situation and who's officiating and what they see and what they look for. But that's that's a heck of a way to. That's a heck of a way.
But by the rule book, Sam, if you watch the video of that, it was a foul. It was a penalty. So it just happened at a very unfortunate time. So it put more magnification on that call. But it was justified. It's a hell of a way to lose, though. You're right.
Yeah, it is. All right. Next up, the Chiefs and the Giants. Holy cow, Ross. The Chiefs are 0-2.
Yeah. 0-2. And they're a legitimate 0-2 team. I mean, they haven't looked good. I mean, they only lose by 3 to Philly, but you thought they'd be in a revenge spot. You thought they would avoid 0-2, and they didn't. And they lose their season opener in a game that probably wasn't as close as the final score indicates against the Chargers. Now they go on the road and they're laying a touchdown against the Giants. And the Giants found the ray of hope last week. They should have won that game, losing to Dallas in overtime, putting up a lot of offensive numbers. And Russell Wilson, who we both had thrown into the grave and shoveling the dirt on him last week, all of a sudden was a revival reclamation project in 1 week. So I just think, look, the Giants, they're the type of team that finds ways to lose. But I think in Kansas City State right now, and the Giants is an 0-2 team, Kansas City is an 0-2 team, and the home underdog, I like the home underdog here. I think they get inside the number they stay competitive throughout this game.
All right, so Ross has got the Giants against the Chiefs on Sunday. Real quick, a reset, Ross, for the NFL. Bengals, Vikings, you had who?
I had the Vikings.
You got the Vikes, and then the Broncos, Chargers, you've got
Chargers.
Chargers. All right, there's the picks for the NFL. Oh, I forgot. We must talk about the Cleveland Browns and the Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Packers are between 8 and 8.5 favorites on the road at Cleveland. The Browns kind of, they miskicked one away against Cincinnati. Last weekend did not surprise me one bit against Baltimore. Before we break down the Chiefs and Browns, Ross, what were your thoughts on the Baltimore-Cleveland game a week ago?
Again, I think the final score is a little bit misleading when you look at the fact that how many yards did Baltimore have in that game? 241 or so?
Yeah. Yep.
But it's 2 straight games now the Browns have lost, and they've outgained their opponents. So the Browns defense probably looks a lot worse by just looking at that final score than what they really are. I think they've played well over the first 2 games, and I think that will help them in this matchup against Green Bay. You got to be aware of these 0-2 teams, especially as a home underdog. As a matter of fact, since 2017, Game 3, 0-2 teams that are home underdog, and they allowed 27 points or more in their previous game, like the Browns have. They've gone 10-1 against the spread in those spots since 2017. They won 7 of the 11 outright. The average line in those 11 games was plus 5.5, a little lower than what we're looking at here, but still, that's even a better sign. With the Browns catching 7.5 right now, I believe, Sam. So I like the Browns here. I don't mean to kiss people's behind in the territory you're in, but honestly, I truly like the Browns in this spot. Green Bay 2-0 in their first 2 games, both at home. Browns coming home, and again, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they don't turn the ball over, they don't miss chip shot field goals, maybe they'll have a chance to win this game. But I definitely think they'll stay inside this number, and I think they'll take this game down to the wire.
Just a couple of stats, and I know you're fully aware of these. Total yards against per game. The Browns are number 1 in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're giving up 191. Passing yards against. The Browns are 3rd in the NFL, giving up 146, yet they find themselves 0-2. And yeah, I think the number's probably a little bit big here. I wonder what kind of a day that the O-line's going to have, because I think also the Browns are averaging time of possession about 34 minutes a game. If Quinshon Judkins can do anything this Sunday, I believe that keeps the Browns right in the thick of things.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because the running game is going to be key here. That keeps that Green Bay offense off the field. Green Bay's defense pretty good as well. There's a reason why this total opened at 43.5 and down to 41.5 as well, because I could foresee a low-scoring game here too. But again, even better for the Browns. I think their chances of covering a game that's a low-scoring affair seem to be a lot better than if it turned into a shootout, because I don't think they could sustain that kind of offensive prowess over the long haul. So let's see what happens. But I truly do, honestly, Sam. I like the Browns plus the points in this spot.
Ross Benjamin is our guest. Check him out, wagertalk.com. That's wagertalk.com. And also, Ross, let our listeners know, let the folks know other really good ways to get right to you to get your winning selections for the weekend.
So listen, I'm at wagertalk.com, folks, but my direct link at WagerTalk is wt.buzz/RB. wt.buzz/RB. Take advantage of this special. Weekend Warrior special, $49. Gets you everything I put out in college football, the NFL, and even we're throwing in Monday as well. $49. Consider the fact that my college football 5% best bet is $35. So for another $14, you're getting the rest of my college football that went 4-0 last week, that was number 1 last year, and all of my NFL. So WT.buzz/RB. And don't forget baseball too, folks. If you like to bet baseball, I'm number one at Wager Talk this year in terms of units earned, up over 80 units, and on a current 97 and 65, 60% run in Major League Baseball that dates back to the second week in May. So a lot of good stuff there, folks. I mean, these free picks are nice, okay? But let me put a little pocket change into your bankroll. So
let's go.
Let's go.
Little jingle in the pocket this weekend. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. It's up on the screen right now. Grab that, everybody. WT.buzz/RB. That's WT.buzz/RB. That'll get you right to our man, Ross Benjamin from wagertalk.com. And again, a great deal this weekend. $49 gets you all the college, all the pro, and it'll get you Monday night selection as well. Ross, I got a couple of folks that chimed in here during our talk. They just want to just kind of pick your brain a little bit. Jets Buccaneers this weekend, New York +7. Baker was awesome on Monday night, and it looks like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback for New York. That's
Captain Checkdown.
It's a tough Captain Checkdown. That's right.
Yeah, as you Browns fans well know.
About Captain
it's a tricky one because Tampa Bay starts out 2-0 with both wins coming on the road, and now they come home as a home favorite against a Jets team that looked hapless last week. It looked like they were going to be a very good team, or a much improved team, after week one. Put up some good offensive numbers, but last week against a Buffalo defense that got shredded against Baltimore, they were only able to get like 150 yards of total offense. So you'll not get me to pull the trigger on the Jets, and I'm a little skeptical with teams like Tampa Bay that are laying a touchdown after coming through with two close road wins, okay? So, I mean, Atlanta, they got outplayed. They came away with a win. And last week, if not for Baker Mayfield's heroic last drive, they would have come up short there too. So a little bit of a misleading 2-0. So I'm going to stay away from this game.
Yeah, that's got written all over it. Justin says, Ross, what about the Steelers and the Patriots? He's a big Pittsburgh fan here by the looks of things. Steelers are given what 1.5, 2 against New England. Yeah.
Look, the Steelers ran into a brick wall against Seattle last week, and a lot of teams have, because Seattle, a lot of people don't realize, going back to last year, they've gone 8-1 on the road, since the start of last year. And New England coming off a win against Miami, I don't know how much you can hang your head on that, because Miami's a mess. The talent's there, but man, oh man, Sam, the culture there, and McDaniel, he's under fire, and the general manager's under fire. I like Pittsburgh here. I like Pittsburgh a little bit in this matchup. I think when push comes to shove, they're the more talented team on paper. And I think they come up with a win here at New England in a game that will probably go right down to the wire.
Yep, no doubt. Ross Benjamin, our guest. Check him out. WT.buzz/RB. That'll get you right to Ross. Get those winning selections this weekend. He's got a great special again. Ross, tell everybody listening about the big special you've got going on.
Again, it's the Weekend Warrior Special. WT.buzz/RB. $49 will get you all my college football, NFL, and Monday night game, all for $49. And that includes my 5% best bets in both college football and the NFL. Those 5% best bets, if you buy them individually, it's $35. So I think anybody out there who has any math in their power could do the math and know this is an absolute steal. So $49. Take advantage of that offer, folks. Also, Major League Baseball, $179 will get you right through the World Series. The rest of the regular season, right through the World Series. I'm having a terrific Major League Baseball season. And NFL, been a little bit unlucky, Sam. I've lost 5 games in the first 2 weeks by a combined 5 points.
Oh.
And very aggravating. Arizona last week, 27-3, late in the third quarter. and I'm laying 6 points in here. They blow a 27-3 lead and win 27-22. Who blows a 27-3 lead against the Carolina Panthers when you leave? They're late in the third quarter.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. You know what though? You just bounce back. Those
yeah,
things.
I always say in yous out there who handicap on your own, you always have to assess your losses. Instead of it bothers you immensely when you lose a game like that, but you got to let it go, because when you assess your loss the next day, would you have made the same pick tomorrow? And if you could unequivocally say yes, your handicapping's good. You had a little bit of bad luck on your side, like being up 27-3 late in the third quarter and being on the 11-yard line of Carolina, and he throws an interception, when you're in field goal range on 3rd and 15 or 3rd and goal from the 11. Yeah. That would have been the difference in winning and losing. So those are the types of things you have to assess and not panic and not overreact. And really take a good hard look at things. I mean, you really assess when you lose things badly and you're not even in the same ballpark. Then maybe you need to make a tweak. But if I could give any kind of advice in that regard, hopefully it doesn't fall on deaf ears.
You got it. Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. Get right to the winning picks, wt.buzz/RB, the big weekend warrior package, only $49. Jump on that. Ross is on fire. Ross, always a pleasure, my man. Great stuff again, as always. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
You bet. There he goes, Ross Benjamin, Wager Talk, wagertalk.com.